Hello YouTubers, it's the Talking Everything AFL channel. In this video, I will be picking one player from each team under the age of 23 who I will believe that will stand out for their team in season 2024. Before I start, it would be awesome if you can subscribe to my channel. Every subscriber will be much appreciated. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed my show, or thumbs down if you didn't enjoy, and please provide comments as this will help me make my show better in the coming future. Alright, let's begin the show. Yeah, come on. Riley Philthorpe of the Adelaide Crows. He is 22 years old and so far he has played 53 games. There is high reps on him as he was taken pick 2 in the draft a number of years ago. He was injured in season 2024, however he was able to play the last 7 games and he kicked 15 goals in those games, including 3 against the Sydney Swans in the very last round of the season. Philthorpe is the crown jewel in the Crows forward line, and my expectations are, if he's fit for season 2025, my expectation is him to take the next step and come close to kicking 50 goals in season 2025. The next player is Norm Smith-Mellors, Will Ashcroft. In his short career, he's played only 31 games, and that includes the Premiership, and he is only 20 years old. Why have I got Will on this list? Given that he's only played 31 games in 2 seasons, and last season, in 2024, he returned from an ACL knee injury to play 16 games in season 2024. Has so much class and talent, and if he plays a full season in year 2025, I expect him to dominate in the Brisbane Lions midfielder and become a top player, or I should say a top 10 player in the league, like fellow draftee in Nick Daicos. The third player is Jesse Motlop of Carlton. Given that the Blues had lost Always and Jack Martin to Geelong, Motlop has played 40 games and he is only 20 years old. With those outgoings of those 2 small forwards, the Blues are screaming for a small forward, and Motlop fits the bill. He has been on the list for 3 years and averages a goal per game. With those outgoings, I expect Motlop to have a breakout season after year 4 or his 4th pre-season. The next team is Collingwood. This one is so difficult to look at. Looking at Collingwood's list profile, they are in win now mode given that they won the Premiership 2 years ago, and they have many players above the age of 30 years or older. So it was difficult to find a youngster, and I can't include Nick Daicos even though he's 21 years old and he's played 70 games and he does fit my criteria of under the age of 23. But Nick Daicos is already a gun. He came second in the 2024 Brownlow medalist. He's just a freak of a player. So looking at players that I could try to find on Collingwood roster was hard. Or I looked at one player, and that could be Finn McRae. He's 22 years old and he's played 21 games for the Magpies. He's been on the list for 4 years, and from those 4 seasons, he's had 2 years where he's played a maximum 9 games. Given that I said the Magpies are in win now mode for the Premiership, it's going to be a difficult team for youngsters to crack into, given that the Magpies had recruited Dan Houston and Perryman in this off-season. The next team is Essendon, and I've got Archie Perkins. He has played 80 games and he is 22 years old. He has been in the AFL system for 4 years, so he's had a number of pre-season, and I believe he is ready to take the next step. In his 4 seasons, he's played a minimum of 18 games per season. Therefore, I expect him to take the next step and play more time in the midfield and contribute to the next wave of Essendon young midfields, where I reckon he will have a breakout season. The next player for Fremantle is Jai Amos. He is 21 years old and he's already kicked 41 goals. He has been on Fremantle's list for 3 years and has played an average of 22 games per season for the last 2 seasons. So that's 44 games in 2 years. And in those 2 seasons, he's averaged 36 goals per season for those past 2 seasons. I expect Jai to take the next step and kick at least 50 goals per season in season 2025 and taking Fremantle back to the finals since the year 2022 season. Geelong, and I've got Max Holmes. He is 22 years old and he's already played 77 games for the Cats. The year that the Geelong won the grand final in 2022, Holmes was very unlucky to miss the grand final premiership win as he did his hamstring and was not unable to play in the grand final. Holmes has been on Geelong's list for 4 years and he has played 25 games in season 2024. His stats are already elite with an average of 24 disposals per game and 560 minutes gained per game. With more time in the midfield next season, in season 2025, I expect Holmes to contribute more for the Cats and potentially becoming a game winner for some of the games in season 2025. The next player is Bailey Humphries of Gold Coast Suns. He is 20 years old and he's already played 40 games. He's been on the list for 2 years and he's averaged 20 games per season for those 2 seasons. With his 3rd season coming up, I expect him to spend more time in the midfield and I expect Humphries to contribute more and be an effective player in the midfield with his power and strength. And also he will complement the midfields of Rao, Anderson and Tuke Miller. The next player is Finn Callaghan, GWS Giants. He is 21 years old and has already played 50 games for the Giants. He has been on their list for 3 years and has played 33 games in the past 2 seasons. In his career, he averages 23 disposals per game. With another pre-season, I expect Finn to play more midfield time and contribute significantly more for the Giants as his class will stand out and he was taken pick 3 in a number of seasons ago in the draft. He has high-end talent. Cameron McKenzie of the Hawthorn Hawks. He is 21 years old and has played 34 games. He is a high-end mid taken with pick 7 of the 2022 draft. He has been on the list for 2 years and averages 20 games per season with 15 disposals per game. With his 3rd season coming up, I expect Cam to contribute more to the team and increase his average to take the next step of 20 plus disposals per game in 2025 season. He has that much potential to be a gun player in the league. The next player is Judd McVie of Melbourne Demons. He is 21 years old and has already played 48 games. He's been on the list for 3 years and has played the 48 games in the past 2 seasons. He's a mean defender who is very composed and plays on the best small forwards this season. I expect McVie to get better this season. He is out of contract and from Western Australia and will be hot property, and I expect him to relish under those conditions. The next player is Paul Curtis of North Melbourne Kangaroos. He is 21 years old and has already played 59 games. He's been on the list for 3 seasons and in the past 2 seasons he has played 44 games. And in season 4, 2025, I expect him to get better, especially with North Melbourne bringing in experienced players in Luke Parker and Darling to assist in the forward line. He is a small forward who has X factor and I've potentially seen him kicking 35 plus goals next season. The next player is Jace Burgoyne from Port Adelaide Power. He is 21 years old and played 36 games so far. He's been on the list for 3 years and season 2024 he played a career high 23 games including the finals, and he was one of their best players against the Sydney Swans in their preliminary final loss. Burgoyne is lightly framed but has good skills, and I expect him to take it to another step given Dan Houston's departure to the Collingwood Football Club, and there will be more expectations on Burgoyne for season 2025, which I expect him to relish under those conditions. Sam Banks of the Richmond Tiger Football Club. He is 21 years old and has played 21 games. Richmond has so many young players, including 7 players taken in 2024 draft. Banks has been on the list for 3 years, and in season 2024 he played a career high 15 games. With many opportunities of game time in season 2025, I expect Banks to benefit from this with more midfield time, and he has a good height of 187 centimetre. In today's modern football, you need that power and height. Next player is Logan McDonald of Sydney Swans. He's 22 years old and has already played 70 games. He's been on the list for 4 years and has played 46 games in the past 2 seasons. This will be his 5th season, and as a key forward, I expect McDonald to start dominating games for the Swans. He kicked 37 goals in season 2024, and I expect this to increase to close to 50 in season 2025. The next player is Matthias Philippou of St Kilda Saints. He is 20 years old and has played 37 games. He's been on the list for 3 years, and last season he played a career low of 13 games, including a stint in the VFL. With the loss of Brad Crouch and St Kilda's need to rotate more players into the midfield, I expect Philippou to play more midfield minutes and become that class, tall, big-bodied midfielder that the Saints are searching for. The next player is Sam Darcy of the Western Bulldogs, son of gun. He is 21 years old and has played 28 games. He's been on the list for 3 years, and last season he played a career high 21 games and kicked 38 goals, showing promise, including a bag of 7 goals against North Melbourne. With a forward line of Hagel and Norton, Darcy has the potential to kick 50 goals in season 2025. And the last player, Bradley Hu from West Coast Eagles. He is 21 years old and has played 53 games. He's been on the list for 3 years and has played an average of 18 games per season and averages 14 disposals per game. The median defender has had the hard task of playing on the best small forwards, and he is the part of the next wave of young West Coast Eagles players. I expect Bradley to just get better in season 2025 with more experience adding to his composure that he has. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to my players that I expect to start dominating in season 2025. If you enjoyed this show, it would be greatly appreciated if you can subscribe, comment and like. All subscribers will be greatly appreciated. Alright, see you again next time. Thank you.